Now, I just want to say right now, let's take a look at what the Empire is doing. We're making 462 dust a turn, 249 influence a turn, and we are researching at 308 Empire progression per turn. Hello, everybody. This is Havoc, and welcome to Endless Legend 2. I'm incredibly excited to be bringing you some actual gameplay finally, after it seems like so long, even though announcement was just a couple of months ago. There's a couple of things I want to mention. First, if you enjoy this type of content of gameplay, then we're definitely going to do that here. And if you like it, you should give the video a like itself, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below to bless it in front of the YouTube gods and the algorithm. Second, this game has a lot of narrative aspects to it. As such, we are going to watch it, we are going to engage with it, and we are going to walk through it because it really creates the story of Saiadha in a way that Endless Legend didn't quite grasp. And I think it does a really good job here. So just a heads up on that front. Third, I am associated with Hooded Horse. And if you want to know what that means, you can totally check out the video in the description. But basically, even though I'm associated with them, I am given no incentives to cover this game, just a deep, deep passion for the Endless Legend universe. Now, we are going to play today as one of the two playable factions in this demo preview build provided to creators and press. These are the aspects, and they are a organic machine-like creatures that really value balance throughout the world. They've gone through some tough stuff, as we're going to read, but basically these are like a politically savvy Zerg, is what a lot of other content creators have been calling it, and I think that's pretty apt description because they spread their influence throughout the whole world through the use of coral. We'll get into it, but I'm super excited for it. But basically, we're going to play through a mini campaign with the aspects and turn right around and go with the kin of Sheridan, which is going to be your typical Terra human style faction. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of Endless Legend 2. Oh, I'm super excited for this. All right, so we start with an awesome army composed of a hero, Polymephon the Steadfast, who is a archer ranged class unit, and then an archer known as a sentry. Now, what we could go ahead and do is we could get our envoy, which is a swarm style unit, and we could go ahead and bring him and have him explore separately, which is what we're probably going to do for now. But one of the coolest things about Endless Legend 2 that I really, really enjoy is that unlike Civ or any of those other games in total, having to find the perfect spot right off the bat can be incredibly stressful. We don't have to worry about that here, mainly because we have what's known as a prepared settlement bonus, which means however many turns it takes before we establish our first one, we actually get a 50% increase in the FIDSy resources for that many turns. So if it takes us 6 turns, we get 6 turns at 50% increase. So that really kind of offsets that, but also in your typical, humankind, amplitude, endless legend style, all of our tiles have different resources that we can utilize and take advantage of. And I'm not going to lie, we already have a really, really good starting position right here. So why is this a good starting position? Well, it does give us a good deal of industry, which is what we're going to need to start building our buildings quicker. We have some access down the road to other resources, and namely food. We already get a good deal of science right here off the bat, which is going to be really helpful. And we're by 2 anomalies, 3 actually, which means that's going to boost our science. So we're going to go ahead just by happenstance. I don't think we'll find another place. We're just going to go ahead and put it right here. Of course, it's going to wait until next turn, which is totally fine. And we're going to go right here and I'm having second thoughts, namely because I do just want to see what's in this next section. Okay, no, I think this is going to be the best place for us. Let's go ahead and plop that sucker down. The aesthetics of the aspect are just absolutely gorgeous. If I get out of all of this and we turn off all the user interface, like, just absolutely fantastic. I love every little bit of this. It's so good. If you haven't checked out the faction overview videos that are on the channel, you should totally do so. I think those would be very, very helpful. But yeah, so we have a pretty good starting point right here. We're making 21 industry, 22 dust, 13 science, 7 influence per turn, and 6 food. So what do we have to do next? Well, we do need to continue this search for more resources and things of that nature, but we do need food as well. So I'm tempted to go right here. That gets me the most amount of food that I can do right at the moment. So we will go ahead and do that. This blank spot's perfect for our forum, which will get us a little boost to our influence. And then I would like to expand right here as our first one to get a little bit more food, if humanly, or yeah, food if possible. All right, cool. Well, that's happening. We're doing good there. We're at 50% contentment, which is your baseline. Not great, but not absolutely terrible either. We do have research as well, and I do want to get a workshop going so we can build our works. If you hold down shift, it locks tooltips, which is fantastic. Plus, we have nested tooltips, which are equally as great. So we're going to get the works going because that gives us our industry. And then I'm feeling a scientific charter and then aestheticism. And the only reason for aestheticism is we get a little bit of extra defense, which is going to help our archers, but also we unlocked a protectorate slot. So that's going to give us our first 3, not too shabby at all. And then our goal now is to just simply explore. There we go. Our diplomatic state changed. All right, so this is another really cool thing. We've already met another faction. Now, one of the things you'll find in Endless Legend 2 is at the beginning of the game, you will start on your own island. And as a result of that, you're actually not going to meet other factions until the first Tidefall. This gives you some room to expand, things of that nature. But we are connected through what's known as the chorus, that symbiotic relationship between all aspect. And as a result, we actually... Oh, we can't see him. That's so strange. We should be able to see him by now. We shouldn't even have to use the cartography exchange. It's really interesting. Oh, they probably haven't even started their city yet because it's based on seeing through the coral. That makes a lot of sense, actually. But we would be able to get to see them once they establish their city. All right, we're going to collect that. That influence is going to be super helpful for us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go after the Black Hammers and start a quest to see what it would take to pacify them. We'd be able to pacify the whole region. And then one of the cool things is we could integrate them into our city and they would give us these bonuses. So it's super useful. We're definitely going to do it. We're going to talk here and parlay with them and see what's up. This is a long way for you to travel. These lands are not always safe for those who wander. Here are the silence aspects. Not good. Never so quiet since we left the kin camp. We listen for the sound of armor, every one of us. I listen too, but I'm in no mood to talk. You fear approaching enemies? No. I fear that those who went out may not return. A scouting party left on my orders a dozen days ago. No news since. We can spare no one to search, so we wait. If we looked for these scouts, perhaps you'd be more interested in talking? I'd be amenable. We are alone here, player Gira the Innumerable, and the world is full of dangers we do not understand. Even a single absence hurts us. Painful as it is to say, I believe they are gone forever. We are warriors. We sing songs of steel and beat the drums of iron. Black Hammers fight and win and come home. Those who attack them may still be prowling these lands. Cool. So we need to destroy the gutless bandits, and in return, we'll get a modeled scythe, which would be good for a specific type of hero, one that we don't have. And then it would also pacify the Black Hammers. That's pretty cut and dry overall. You can see this is one of the gutless bandits. Technically, I think we would win. So we should probably do that. Sweet. Impeded. Multiple tiles that can cost movement points. And it contains anomalies or points of interest granting bonuses. Very cool. All right. So, one of the things that I know just from playing the game and things of that nature is that tiles do matter. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we were to hover over, assuming they would let us, here we go. So, units standing in forest tiles gain 3 defense, and ranged units targeting a unit in a forest lose 20 damage. We only have a handful of turns to get over there, so we're definitely just going to pop into there. Gives us a defensive stance and multiple bonuses to where that just wouldn't help them whatsoever. And good. We're now able to go in and attack them. I love seeing these battles. These animations are so good. Yep, that hurt just a little bit, but I do think we're going to end up winning this one. Just a super cut and dry battle, I'm not going to lie. We could speed things up a little bit since we know there's only one person we're fighting. There we go. Got some battle spoils out of it as well. That works for me. And then we have these gutless bandits over here as well. Sweet, our works actually got finished. We're going to head over there. We're going to pop into here to combine our strength over there just to make things a little bit easier. And then as you just saw, we do have a non-aggression pact that we can sign. Let's go ahead and accept it. That works us towards a partnership, which means we now get some influence reductions for beneficial treaties and an increase for non-beneficial treaties. All right, simple enough. And we are going to go ahead and bounce a works into here so we can be done and get a little bit of extra industry. And then we also have what looks to be a main mission. The illuminated realm of the aspects is at its lowest ebb for centuries, devastated and desperate. Several months ago, the web of coral that stretched across the island and into the seas beyond experienced a dieback the likes of which had never been witnessed. Reefs withered and blackened, only a pitiful handful of coral shells remained. The chorus, the shared mind where all aspect come together in thought, atrophied as well. Good news, Plero. Against all odds, we survive. Reefborn has been built anew. It's a shadow of itself, and our once mighty chorus is but a discordant whisper. We lost many in the dieback, that is true, but a handful of us persist, and we will rebuild the chorus as well. Were we complacent, my friend? We called it the illuminated realm, a land of plenty and bliss, but we were blind to the coming ruin. Good questions, of course, but they can wait. And remember, you barely donned the robes of office, power laid in others' hands, so stop feeling guilty. Thank you, Critolin. Oh, you are right. I look back in pity, not ahead in hope. I forget the balance, the harmony. What do you recommend with your experience? Everything begins with the coral. We must grow new fields immediately and find new varieties immune to the blight. We are not yet saved. Sweet. So we need to build 2 coral spores, and those are pretty easy to do. I'm not going to lie. We're going to go ahead and defeat this guy real quick, and then we'll address that. All right, you've done well. I can hear from your weapons whispers that the monsters who took our scouts have paid the price. Sweet. So we do get that modeled scythe, and we have pacified the black hammers. Sweet. That was pretty cut and dry. We got our battle spoils, and now they are pacified, which means we could go ahead and bring them in. Now, what does that mean? To cohabitate, actually, is what the aspects call it. It means that we now get access to their warsmiths, which are really good melee units. We could use those in our army for sure. We could get their citizens in, which means we get 2 industry on scribes, which is great. And then also we get 5 approval per pacified village on the protectorate on keep districts. So if we were to build a keep district, which is under here in stonework, I believe that's what it means, then we could receive a good bonus there. Am I correct in that? On keep districts, yep. So every time we build a keep district, we would get 4 industry and 10 approval. That's pretty daggum handy, I'm not gonna lie. All right. So what we need to do is we need to build 2 coral spores. And what that means is this, whereas other factions have to build a camp straight away, we actually build a coral spore. So in 3 turns, that'll generate a coral, and then that will start spreading and spreading that we can then turn into a camp if we have enough influence. So it's really, really useful. All right, it's been 8 turns, but just as I thought, they hadn't established their city yet. So now that the other aspects faction has established their city, we can see it. And one of the cool things, look at this, watch. If I hover over, they turn around and they wave at me. He's gonna stop and he's gonna be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? What's up there, dude?" I love it. Oh, that's so cool. It's the small things in life, but they actually are really awesome. So they are going to start expanding and doing their own thing. We're a little bit ahead of them, but that's not anything negative per se. And so we're going to wait a couple of turns. We're going to be able to get this spore going, and that will be one step closer in fulfilling our mission. So our first coral spore has gone up, and it looks fantastic. I love it. And so what's going to happen now is we could immediately evolve it into a camp. Nothing negative will happen out of that. It doesn't prevent the coral from expanding anymore, as far as I know. And so we'll be good there. And then we can find another place to plant another coral spore, which we could then move into a camp or do whatever we want to with. All right, I think I found my next place. And the main reason for wanting to come here is, again, as we're about to find out, well, I can build that because we have the district available to do it. But for instance, right here, we're going to get 7 science because we're next to an anomaly. We get 2 science plus 1 science on the tile producing yields, and we're going to be adjacent to a couple of districts. So that's a really great scenario setup we have right here. But if we were to look right here, we're actually up against 2 anomalies and a third right here on this tile, which means a science laboratory would be really beneficial here, a science laboratory here, and a science lab here. That's going to be a really good science production center. And then if we hop across the pond, across this river, we would be able to take advantage of this ridge, which is good for industry. So this is actually a really great spot overall. So we're definitely going to go ahead and place a spore that would fulfill our mission, as well as convert this over to our territory. All right, the spore is planted. The first shoots of corals crack through the soil, healthy and radiant. A beautiful sight, one that makes the old circuits hum. And no sign of disease? None. Relax, Plero. Our new variety appears to be immune so far to the blight. Soon the chorus will sing again. I'm happy to hear that, but it troubles me we're no closer to fathoming the cause of the blight. All right, so as a result, we got 10 approval, which is going to help the contentment in our cities. The coral remains healthy. We must take advantage of this time, Plero, not waste its potential. But many things weigh upon us: construction, defense, research. We are so weak. Should we prioritize alliances or impress with might, research other corals, or slow down, Plero, breathe? Ever since the chorus failed, I've been anxious. I never realized how much the constant roar soothed me. None of us did. And you weren't named Player Gira the Innumerable for nothing. Nobody could better decipher the chorus. One thing at a time. Start with this coral. Desperation drives us to protect it and improve it. So we need to build 3 foundations in Reefborn, and we would get an envoy unit as a result. Now, one of the cool other things about the aspects is that if, as I mentioned, this coral expands, and you can see that it's starting to expand and go into other places. Foundations are required to build a structure, right? So we have one more, or district rather, we have one more space where a district can go. Now, will it go there? What will be there? I don't know. Uncertain at this point. But you can see we would run out. So as a result, we need to build other foundations so we can then build on top of them. The cool thing about the aspects, you'll notice here, this is half of the cost of this tile. And the reason being is there is a coral that is on this tile. So improvements, or rather foundations, are built instantly just at the cost of that influence. And then as you can see, the costs go up. I'm going to go ahead and go here because this is an anomaly. I don't know what it is called. I will never know, I guess. And as a result, we exploit that, which gave us 7 food. That's very good. And now we just need one more territory, or one more foundation, to complete the mission. And so what I'm going to do is hopefully be able to get enough influence quickly to go ahead and exploit this tile. But as you can also see here, now we have another district to build on. So 2 out of our 3 foundations isn't bad at all. We built our second spore, and now we can continue exploring the world of Saiadha as much as we want to. And I'm torn between wanting to continue this way or going this way. If we go over here, we would have to build a bridge, a temporary bridge, but I guess that works. So let's go ahead and do it. All right. So what you just witnessed is the start of the monsoon season. It's a very turbulent time that comes with a lot of benefits, but also a lot of iffy scenarios. So one of the benefits is, well, the unfortunate scenario for us is that the monsoon happened, so I can't build a temporary bridge anymore, and I need to go the other direction. But one of the positives is that we will heal even when not in our territory, which is a big deal for me. We also get double the spoils if we exploit any resource tile that can be exploited. And we also get a couple other benefits. One of the negative benefits is that if we hadn't pacified the Black Hammers, they would all become violent regardless if they're a violent faction or not. The monsoon kind of drives everyone crazy, so we would be in a pickle, as it were, if that were the case. Thankfully, it's not, and we don't have to worry about worrying about them. But regardless, we have to think about that as we push over during the monsoon into uncharted territories. Oh, yes, one of the other benefits is our council. So every monsoon, we unlock new council seats. These have kind of replaced the governors for cities, but I still think they have a really good place inside of the world of Endless Legend 2. So, for example, if we were to get Polyphemon, which is our hero, into one of these council seats, it doesn't matter which, we would get 5 influence per camp, and then minus 50% influence cost to assimilate or cohabitate. That's a really good one. And then over here, we have either a 100% battle spoils on a unit or 20 experience on new units on cities. I think battle spoils would be really, really good. So we're going to validate that. Now we could reset it for 40 gold or dust if we find someone more suitable, but I don't know that we will right now. All right, we have enough influence to unlock the final piece. So we're definitely going to go right here for the science. Yep, we're going to go there and build a science thing. Sweet. And that's our third one. I feel a spark of hope, Plero. The chorus will be renewed. We've done well, but we're far from safe. Enjoy our victories, even if they're small ones. Several were inspired enough to offer themselves as fighters. Our forces are stronger than ever. Great. Since establishing new coral reefs, Player Gira has begun to look to the future, but yields are unstable and the fields require constant care. Shadows still loom over the illuminated realm, with worrying questions about the dieback and the chorus. Player Gira is anxious once more, seeking counsel. What is happening? The dieback, our chorus, our harmony? Are we living on a doomed world? We're here to deal with the present, Plero, not predict the future. All I know is we must persist no matter what this world throws at us. Well said. In fact, we must get to know this world better than we do, or thought we did. Easy, or exactly. There are many lesser nations on these lands. It may be worth communicating with them and seeing what they may know. Cool. So we need to pacify 2 villages by coral. And what that means is if we hadn't pacified these guys already, and the coral extends into their tile, it automatically pacifies them. And it's just those villages, not the entire people group. So that's really useful, though. That's extremely useful, in fact. And we could use that as we expand into the world of Saiadha all over the place. We're going to come back here, get that, and then we're going to join our brethren here. Sweet. All right, so here's what I mean. So basically, we have these 2 unseen seers, these 2 villages, and they are automatically violent due to the monsoon season, which means they'll attack us on sight. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to build our coral spore, which is still in a really good location, mind you. And then as it expands, we're not going to pacify these people. We're going to purposefully not engage in that quest because I don't want them to be. I want to use that to pacify my villages. All right, very nice. We have not pacified. We've dropped our coral, but again, those disciples, they want to automatically attack us. So we are going to go ahead and be automatically attacked. And we're going to bring in our full army. I want to select my hero. Thank you. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and do a manual battle. And they're going to both move in. They're ranged units. So what are we going to do? We're going to put them in here. But this is a really cool thing that I love about the aspect. You saw a little thing go up called Harmonious Tactics. So basically, if a unit defends, which defending means that they agree that they aren't going to attack this turn, then that Harmonious Tactics kicks in and it gives a plus 10% to all units regarding damage. So that's really, really helpful for us. We're going to hide in these here fields for this turn until they come in, and then we'll attack them in the next one. All right, those two attacks hurt a lot. Hopefully we can work on engaging them a little bit better in this one. Sweet. And then I'm going to come up here, and units that are ranged that are coming within one tile of a unit, they don't do well. So I'm hoping they're just going to continue to attack me. Okay. I was hoping they would attack someone else, but not really. Sweet. So we got double the spoils, remember, because of our counselor. We are going to kind of suit up here and take on the healing aspect, because that is going to be very helpful. Dadgummit, they attacked us again. What happens if I instantly resolve? I'm actually okay with that. We're going to get 80 more buckaroonies. And we're going to use this wealth. We're going to use it to our advantage. I'm going to pay for a laboratory to go up there. And then we could expand again. We need another foundry, or works rather. So we're going to build a works there. Can't quite pay for it. But what I can do is I can expand. Oh, I can't. Never mind. I can't expand into there. This would be a good spot, but I think we'll be chill here for a moment. I want to take a look at my population. So our population is comprised of aspects, go figure, which means that they get +1 influence per number of a different population type in the category. So that means any number of different populations adds 1 influence. So right now that doesn't do anything for us. That wouldn't do anything here, for instance. Actually, it would. That's really interesting. Well, never mind. It wouldn't. It's just adding 1 because I moved a dude there. So that's definitely another reason why we'd want to get the Black Hammers in. In fact, let's go ahead and integrate them. Now, this is unique again to the aspects, the cohabitate. So it's going to cost us 5 influence per turn. But as you can see, they're going to give us 2 industry per pacified village on a keep and 5 approval per. And usually that means we get a couple of people here. And as you can see, if you were paying attention to the influence, it actually didn't drop by 5. And that's because, well, again, we're actually getting a bonus here because of the aspect. These guys don't give off whatever is called influence, but because we have a different faction in here, we would be able to have that. So that's really helpful. I absolutely love it. Let's get to it. We have built our coral spore here, which is great. And our hero has leveled up. This is something we haven't looked at yet. So our hero overview is very similar at its core to how Endless Legend 1 worked. If you're familiar with the concept, we have a range of equipment that we can deal with. We have a skill tree, which is still broken up into your archer class or your faction class, or sorry, your hero class, a hybrid between faction and class, and then your faction skill tree only. But before we get into this, I want to get into a profile, because one of the new things we can do is we can assign a companion. A companion adds really positive buffs depending on the faction type and things of that. For instance, oh my word, this is great. So we could do 5 defense on non-hero in a hero's army, or we could go with 20% damage on the hero. I'm definitely going to do that. And the only reason we have access to this, I believe, is because our brethren to the south have possibly pacified them, which is a really cool concept to think about if that's true. I hope so, because that definitely seems like that's what it is, which would be really, really cool. And so what we can do here, we can't evolve that into a camp just yet, but what we can do is we can do this. Now, our skill tree is further buffed by these over here, which are might, resilience, intuition, and determination. And as you see, as I highlighted over each of these, they highlighted certain skills that they coincide with. So for instance, if we looked at resilience, we could go here where it adds 3 defense to all units of the army and adds 1 extra defense per resilience. That would bring the total to 5, which would actually be pretty good. If we were to go over to determination, when adjacent to a friendly defending unit, adds a 15% critical chance to the hero and a 3% extra critical chance, which would bring it up to 18. We're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to try and keep that in mind to make myself a little more powerful than what I currently am. And we're going to continue working our way through as the monsoon pours down on us. Just kidding. The monsoon's over, and it triggers my favorite piece of this game, and that's the tidefall. The tidefall is literally after the monsoon happens, the water falls back, revealing all of this new territory. That's territory that we can expand into, that we can take advantage of. Oh my word, it's so great. Sweet. Look out for opportunities as new territories emerge. Strange, disturbing sights may appear, along with grim fortresses that might be just what your armies need to test their mettle. All right. So now this has changed up the game a little bit. And why? Well, we now have strategic and luxury resources that are within our grasp. We can see here we have a glass steel deposit. We have hydromeal. I think that's what this is. Maybe. I would think that's hydromeal. And then we have titanium over here, which are all going to be fantastic to take advantage of. But we got to take advantage of them, which requires new science techs and things of that nature. So what we're going to do now, they are peaceful. Oh, sweet. We just did it. We have already pacified one of the two villages. You saw it right there. That's how it works. And now hopefully it will creep towards these other unseeing seers, and we can really take advantage of it and progress a little bit quicker in our main quest. We also finally have another black hammer. So this gives 2 industry on scribes, which would make it really beneficial to put it over here. We're definitely going to want to try and integrate more as we can, more protectorates, and that's why we're working on the research technology to unlock it. We've discovered titanium. Yep. I'm here for this. And we need to place a camp in here so that I can, when I have the tech for it, take advantage of all of this, because these are really, really good things. Oh my word. Yes, absolutely we do, because this actually turned out to be a titanium deposit. So in this territory alone is a glass steel deposit, a titanium deposit, and 2 hydromeal deposits. That's fantastic. What does hydromeal do? It gives us 10 dust on the city for 15 turns. That is fantastic. We definitely want to try and get that. It's going to cost us a pretty penny, but it will be 100% worth it. Let's get it. Awesome. We made significant inroads with the Saiadans, who aren't our major rivals. We get 150 influence. We can really use that. Oh, clicked off. Sorry. There's other news. I will let Leo Grammel explain. The old timer insists you hear this from him. What does my master statesman want to tell me? My lord, during the recent missions we came across, how do I explain this? An aspect wandering the uncharted lands. After the storms and the dieback and the starfall, that's hardly surprising that some wander lost or in doubt. I would agree, except that this aspect, Xenos, is not in the chorus. Remember, the chorus is the ability for all aspects to talk to each other. We found them with our eyes, not our minds, my lord. How could this be? One of our number cut off from the chorus? Another clan? A different chorus? I must speak with him. Of course, be wary though. Xenos remembers nothing except their name. They could be dangerous. I'll have guards bring them. I dared ask you to seek, though I do not know me, or I you. You are welcome to the harmony, though I confess it's hard to process, to digest. You stand here, yet on a whisper of your thoughts echo in the chorus. Who are you, Xenos? To start with the most difficult question, I don't know who I am. I have only flashes of memories, of noise and flame, stars exploding, screams in the chorus, but nothing is clear or substantial. I need help, my lord, to understand who I am and what happened. All right, we will help you, Xenos, in turn for the harmony. What would be the best way to bring out those lost memories? So we could provoke those memories by exploring 20% of Saiadha, which is another 12% that we need to get, or we could excavate and build 2 laboratories, which is what we're wanting to do anyway. So we definitely want to do that. And then we would get 10 dust gain per small population. As you can see here, obviously there are some strings of text that aren't completely ready. This is a demo build after all. Cool. We'll do that, and we'll build 2 more laboratories. Brilliant minds, who I'm certain will discover who you really are. Sweet. We're going to begin that quest, and then we're going to go ahead and figure out where we're going to put our 2 laboratories. We got one right there. That's an obvious statement. And then we could put one here, which would also reap benefits there. Sweet. That works for us. Meanwhile, I want to go ahead and attach this to a city. We're going to attach it to Reefborn. And then I want to take advantage of this anomaly to get a nice little boost to our dust production. And I actually don't think there's another. There is all the way down here, which we wouldn't be able to reach, which is totally fine. We established our coral spore there, and we need to continue searching. Now, one of the things we can do, for one, we need to get that ticked off. There are some things here. I don't know if the deeds actually work. If they do, we need to be the first to eliminate 20 units, and we've done a handful, or pacify 6 villages. We pacified 4, so I want to see if those are broken or not. They may not yet be implemented into the game. Player Gira set the stance to friendly. Let's take a look at them real quick. We're at plus 30. We'll send for 19. That's a really easy thing to do open borders. That gets us into the high territory as well, which is going to be really, really helpful for building up that relationship. I mean, they're really just across the pond. That's really not far, all things considered. Player Gira the Innumerable, you wanted to speak with me. That's right, Counselor Emmanuel, the debater. Tell me, what do you think of Reefborn? Well, it's a noble settlement, worthy of our noble empire, with a noble past. I'm more interested in the city's current mood. The citizens seem glum. My counselor should know why. Glum, of course, very glum. Old Windbones passed away just a few evenings ago. Sort of a local legend, famously prickly, but really beloved by all. The loss of this Old Windbones has dispirited the population of an entire settlement. Everyone had tales of Old Windbones. Quite a character, such a loss. And what do you propose we do to end this trouble? All right, so we could spend 125 gold, or dust rather, and get 10 approval for 10 turns. We could lose science progress, which I don't want to do, in exchange for influence. Or we could punish, in which case we get -5 approval, but we get plus 30 industry. I actually think this would be a good one to go for. Punish, because we don't have that much discontentment, and we would get plus 30 industry, which would help us build faster. This entire affair is foolishness, unworthy of the aspects. Until it's forgotten, the citizens will work hard for their empire. All right, sweet. So that does reduce things just a smidge, and we need to be mindful of it. Can I build a bridge yet? I can build a temporary bridge. That works for me. Or I can just let the coral go across the river, and in which case, I can walk across it. That's right. The coral allow me to walk across water areas. So for instance, I could walk out to here. I could, I guess I can't walk out there. But basically, wherever the coral spreads, I have the ability to walk on it, which is awesome. We also have 10 clacks, which would give us 15% approval on a city. And I'm all about that. So that works for us. That actually helps us a little bit. We now are at least not in content. We're actually in happy, which gives us a 15% increase in dust income, science, and influence, which works swimmingly well for us. Let's go here. And we'll place another coral spore here to claim that, because it does also have a titanium and a hydromeal, and then a couple of anomalies. Rope that into a camp. Can we rope this into a camp? We cannot, not yet anyways. And then what I'm actually going to do, we progress into Era 2. I want to build the mine shaft right away, and then I want to build a trading post, which will really, really help with everything. And then I actually want to go over into Collective Will, because it's in Collective Will that we can upgrade our city hall and get another city level on the city, and then get an attachable territory, which would allow us to some pretty good expansion overall. Nice. The most learned philosophers have completed their examinations. They're at a complete loss. How can this be? We have the body, we have the mind, we bring them together, a harmony is created, a voice is added to the chorus. Since the first aspect, there is no other way. Xenos remains as mysterious as the first day we laid eyes on him. Some begin to think he's hiding something. All right, well, we still got our dust gain. Days pass with Xenos striking a miserable figure among the bustle of Reborn. The chorus swells and strengthens, but its joyous harmony is unheard by the outsider. Player Gira has heard reports from the escorts that Xenos mutters dark prophecies during his periods of fitful rest, nightmarish visions of a world broken by unending deserts. The outsider weighs heavily on my mind, Krillin, excuse me. Xenos contradicts everything we know and believe about ourselves. Now they babble about the coming doom. Wouldn't hold too much stock in some wanderer's ravings. The dieback broke many good souls, but I wonder if maybe Xenos was one of us years ago. How could that be, though? An unwanted juvenile abandoned to the waves? An unfortunate accident that cuts them adrift? Contact with these new monsters that roam the lands? They might have grown up alone and in silence until their island was no longer a prison. And their dark prophecies? Meaningless nightmares. This sort of trauma can do strange things to the mind. The sight of the falling seas would do something to an already troubled spirit, and perhaps bring these visions to a desert. Or bring these visions of a desert, rather. We must learn to understand Xenos if we wish to understand ourselves and our world. I wonder how we might do that, Krillin. If I may be so bold, right now our priority should be seizing lands, not speculating on mysteries. Lands that suit us. All right, cool. So if we claim Kandri, which is a territory on Saiadha, we would get the Shawl of Tranquility, which gives us 3 intuition. And it's actually part of the set of the Garb of Harmony. And then adds 10 defense to all units in the army. That's actually a really, really good one. Oh, nice. We've already done that. Cool. That works for me. If we go here, we are out of people, or not out of people, really. We are out of buildings to build. So what we can do is we could actually go here, and although we don't need the bridge, remember this is a keep. This is a keep type built district, and so that means we would get, what's the bonus from these guys? 2 industry on scribes, but what is their protectorate? I forgot. 5 approval and 2 industry per keep. So that would be 4 and 10 approval per keep. So we're definitely going to do that, I think, there. Sweet. That works for me. And then we probably should book it back here and build some merchants' quarters. Merchants' houses, excuse me. We'll build one there and we'll build another one there to kind of boost our coffers a little bit more, because again, that could help us build things all the time, which would be great. We haven't actually claimed this yet. We'd have to evolve into a camp. Okay, well, we can do that in just a handful of turns. That's not an issue. I was wondering why it wasn't triggering, because we technically don't have it. Sweet. Do you feel safer now, my lord? New lands lie under your control, ripe for coral. Do I detect dismay, Xenos? We do what we can to maintain the harmony and grow the chorus. I'm happy we secured fertile lands. A doom is coming to this world, fields of coral or not. Anything involving the old ones seem to come to an unpleasant end. Well, regardless, we got the shawl. Xenos' identity and their bleak prophecy still trouble Gira, but they have bigger concerns to occupy their mind. The retreat of the waters is a new nightmare, on top of which rivals vie for the riches of newly revealed seabed. All the while, strange corrupting beasts stalk the lands, and hostile empires and tribes threaten bloodshed. Gira suspects they will see the works of the old ones. Apologies for the interruption, we have yet another intriguing visitor. This may become the motto of my reign. They are a green scion traveler, Idumil, who claims they have information about the Xenos and their clan. All right, well, welcome. May you live in harmony. We live for the work, not harmony. The work requires effort, time, but I come to speak of Xenos. What do you know? We are many, our gardens are many, we see much, I can tell you much. However, we need your help, your might. Help cull the doom raids who terrorize our gardens, then I will tell you all. Cool. We need to destroy 1 doom wraith. We don't have any around us, or else we would be able to see them, and the doom wraith would show up as something playable. All right. Wow, it looks like they have a ton of units already. Admittedly, they're the AI, so it's not really surprising, but that's 10. They have 12 units, and I still have 4. So we need to start working on that. Now, thankfully, we have... Yeah, we need to use this. So we could go with an Observer, 2 or 1 Warsmith, and 2 Sentries. That's a lot, but I think it would really, really help us. Sweet, and our titanium and glass steel mines are up, or researched, rather. Oh, we'd have to attach that to a city, or no, we haven't claimed it yet. That's what it is. No, we have. Sweet. That's what it is. Right there, titanium mine. Sweet. Now we can use these to upgrade our units. So you can see here, we can specialize at the cost of, well, the right tech, but also the cost of either titanium or glass steel. So we're going to be pumping that up. And then we just need to continue walking around. Now, hopefully, there are, it looks like we're probably tied into a land bridge together, but I really hope there's another faction. If not, then we'll have to see if we can even make this thing work. And now we've come across a fortress, the splintering prison. Reality itself groans and bends under the weight of the atrocities unleashed in this dark complex. Only those of sound body and mind should risk entering. Their power estimation is 574. Ours is much less than that, so we're not going to fight it now. But we could get dust, we could get a random equipment, and what is this? Random uncommon consumable equipment. Okay, that's not for us right now. We will just bypass it, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, signing this treaty will reveal each empire the tiles I've already discovered. They'll give us 300 dust for it. Deal. Like, totally deal. All right, so we are connected by the land bridge, which is unfortunate because that does mean we're not going to see anyone else in this playthrough. But that's okay. Like, that's not the end of the world, unless there's something here that connects them, or the only other possibility is if our coral were to travel across the shallow waters and provide that land bridge for us. So it looks like we are just ourselves on our own. That does change things in terms of what we can and can't do. I really don't want to fight these guys right now. I'm really just more concerned about expanding. Each tile over which other has vision. We already do this because we're aspects, but if you want to just, if that's what you want to do, then you do that. Like, okay. That does mean we can get a nice little boost here though on that front. And then we could go here and build a works. I'm going to go ahead and try and build up an army here. We're going to go down and we're going to try and take on this because fortresses provide really awesome bonuses. So for instance, this is a little bit bugged. They are, or at least they're going to reduce it. 900 influence right off the bat at this point of the game would be bonkers, but I'm going to take advantage of it. But we could also seize it, which would automatically claim this territory for us. We're not going to do that, but we could if we wanted to really exploit things. I'm not in the market to exploit at the moment. All right. Counselor Emmanuel, the debater, there's something you wish to discuss. Indeed, but I'll be brief. It's come to my attention the way we promote soldiers from within the ranks is less than ideal. This is a surprise. I would never question the traditions. Raw strength and a warrior's lineage have their place, but to lead other qualities may be required. In Reefborn, the situation's out of control. The battalions trained here are in shambles. Watch your tone, counselor. These are my fighters you're talking about. It's my job to tell you the truth. And truth is, we need to put a test in place on selecting officers. Let the best and brightest move up the ladder, not just the noblest and the brawniest. All right, so we could gain 15 experience on new units. Of course, I just, spawned 3 of them. Could reject it, getting 15 approval, and then 5 minimum and maximum damage. Or we could just simply say adapt, and we would get that damage for us. Oh, it's more damage. Oh, no, it's not more damage. We're going to reject that idea, sorry. I assume the entire conversation was a strange joke. Otherwise, you insult my forces, a fine city, and our very customs. No new tests will be implemented. The citizens can be assured the battalions will operate as usual. Yes, it's a joke. I'm sure they'll be pleased to hear it. Cool. So now we're hovering at 68% happiness, which isn't great for us. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping a little more. Actually, let's go here, and then I'm going to go here because we get just that one little extra boost of industry. And then we should have gotten our 5 approval per pacified village. Unless they don't consider this a keep unit, or a keep thing, which they should, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. So we are going to fight this, but I need to be in a bit of a better position myself, which does mean moving around and getting people in here. So we have spots for 2 more. So we'd like to go ahead and bring in one of those guys, and then we're going to bring in our Blackhammer Warsmith. I think that would be very influential, and then we'll be able to tackle this guy. That's the plan anyways. We technically would be stronger, which would be good for us. And we built a trading post. Great. That gives us our quarries too. Traders Trails, which is also awesome. That's a really good one for us. It's going to allow us to buy and sell glass steel and things of that nature. In fact, if we went over here, we are at the bottom, and actually we're not doing great, all things considered. We are in the lead just barely with tech score. Actually, we're in 2nd place. We need to get our territory stuff built up, but it's the military that's wild. That's what's really holding us back. So what we're going to do, we're going to come here. I want to plunder this, and we're going to start our battle. Now, this is just us against them. No reinforcements or anything. So we definitely need to pick and choose battles a little bit and how we want to work this. We're definitely going to hit this guy. I think it would actually knock him back if it's a charge over 2 tiles. Okay, it doesn't, which is fine. I'm going to move over here. Oh, shoot. I didn't realize that I couldn't reach here, or else I would have done that to get harmonious tactics. Remember, that's one of the best things that we can get for us. Our sentry should be able to hit the, I think that's their hero. Yeah, Tyrant of the Fortress. And unfortunately, we won't be able to go here. So I did not plan that well whatsoever. We can take that hit. That's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That hurts. That hurts as well. And of course, they're going to come along and smack me again. We might lose our boyo here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set him to defend. That's going to give us that harmonious tactics, which will allow me to attack this dude, knock him back, which is what we wanted in the first place. We're going to move around here, which kills him, which is good. And then we're just going to continue hounding on this guy in the hopes that, that's fine. We'll probably end up losing this guy right here. Yeah, we're bleeding, so he's definitely a goner. Yep. All right. That also gave them Inspiring Strike, which I'm not sure what that is. Applies inspired status to adjacent friendly units. I don't know what inspired means. I'm not going to lie. That's fine. We're going to do the same thing here, though. We're going to kind of tank this guy. And then we're going to charge that dude to give us some extra bonus. We're going to hit this guy. And then we're going to move up and hit this Harper and kill it. Brilliant. And then there's only one left. Oh, that's right. We have second wind, don't we? Adjacent to a friendly defending unit. So we're going to go here. That second wind works for us. And then if I were to go here, well, if we go here and defend, they get the second wind again. Still didn't get the critical shot, but that's fine because those guys are dead. Sweet. So we got a ton of gold. Or dust, rather. We got a Scion's Charm, which gives us determination. We got Poison Salts. What does that do? Deals 30 damage and applies a vulnerable status. Cool. And then we also got a Light Mace, which isn't for us, but it's a one-handed weapon nonetheless. What horrors did you find in the depths? We definitely found horrors, but we found a lot more too. We're going to go ahead and plant our coral. Actually, we could probably plant our coral here. Sweet. And then, of course, he's leveled up. So let's go to our equipment. We can don the Dark Horror Mail, which gives us a good deal of health and defense. Do we want the Shawl of Tranquility? Yes, we do. That gives us an automatic 3 intuition. That intuition means we could do something like get 10 more per, actually that'd be 22 more experience to non-hero units. Or just 15 more experience when in battle. That's actually 27 more experience. We could gain 5 experience after discovering a curiosity. That'd be 13 experience total. That's 5 damage. That's 9 damage to a adds 9 damage to non-hero. Is that ranged units? Yep, ranged units only. Or we could get an active skill that restores 40% of health plus 16 health. That's actually pretty good, but I am going to rock with 15% more experience and do that, because that means this dude will level up a lot faster, which will be very, very helpful. Oh, we have 2. Oh, okay. That works for me. Non-hero units gain 10 more. That's actually a good one too. So now everyone gets a really big boost after battles, which works for me. And with that large amount, we can evolve this into a camp and then straight into a city, and then attach that city, attach that here to Longshore, all in a single turn, which means we really, really ramped up ourselves, which is great. And then we've got, let's see, we've got the anomaly that we already take advantage of. So we could expand here to get good amount of industry there, another good amount of industry, which we can pay for both of those. And we have a blast furnace unlocked. So this is an improvement that we can get. This is great. I forgot about improvements actually. So it can only be built once per city, but for instance, here, in exchange for 5 titanium, we actually get plus 10 industry to that thing on top of it. So that actually is going to really help us, which means we can do the same thing over here to this guy, which is great. Now, admittedly, we are, we're rocking through all this stuff. We probably don't need this anymore quite as much. I'd rather put them at the end. That's totally fine. But yeah, so now what we're looking for is 6 more turns to get the collective will, which will then turn into the sanctity of nature or the beacon of science, all of these which will allow us to increase the number of cities we can have and the number of attachable territories. So that's actually really good. Making 51 science is not too shabby for sure. And even then, we can try and exploit some of these things. Like here, boom, we just got another 10 dust. That's fantastic. And again, boom, we could be exploiting some more things over there too. And we can build hydromill quarries. Oh my word, this is the best of days. So we're going to actually generate some flax or clax, excuse me. Remember, clax gives us plus 15 approval. And then once we get this rolling with the hydromeal, that will give us 10 dust on the city. We'll be making 2 per turn. So that means every 10 turns, we would have enough, but the duration is for 15 and it doesn't stack. So that's fine. There's no issues with that. We're actually in a really good spot. I want to go ahead and probably evolve this into a camp when I can. And then we're almost so close to a 3rd city, I'm willing to take that hit. But we do need to boost ourselves just a little bit because 68% happiness isn't bad. It's not bad at all. 40% is not great. And we definitely want to bump those numbers up. Those are very, very rookie numbers. So we'll have to see what we can do to think about that. We also, I kind of forgot that we actually pacified the unseeing seers. What do they do? 2 dust on an active monsoon, 2 dust science and influence on an active monsoon. And then here we would actually get their notable and then 10 influence per pacified village under the protectorate on an empire. So that means 20 straight up. That means almost 20 straight up. We did have the -7 cohabitation. That works for me. So the thing is, do we have any more? We do here. So we definitely want them to be pacified. Oh, they are pacified. And then there are more of them. Yeah, there's some right here. I guess they're technically not pacified, not in the sense of actually bringing them into our empire. So we'll definitely have to make this into a camp, and then I think that would actually work for us in that area. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. We built our Vervalen over there, and then it's basically just going to be figuring out, well, can we compete with these guys? We're getting there slowly but surely, and I do need to start taking in all of the other areas that are going to have a lot of resources. So for instance, I definitely want to drop a thing here so we can take advantage of it. Our collective will has been researched. Remember, that's what we need in order to establish more territories and things of that nature. So if we were to go here, we could build our improvements. The sanctity of nature would simply give 1 food, industry, influence, dust, and science per adjacent district. So that's going to give us +6 across the board, which isn't bad, but it's not fantastic. I'm inclined to go with the beacon of science because this would give me 19 science. So it gives us 10 science and then 3 extra science on a laboratory and reduce the cost on the foundation within our city boundaries. That's well worth it. To the point where, like, I want to bring you up to the front and make you do work. There we go. That works for me. And then here, we can do the same thing. 4 industry per population on artisans, +1 artisan slots on a work district. I don't feel like we necessarily would benefit from this, at least not right now. So maybe it's not worth it to invest in here. I don't know. I think this is worth the investment as well. There's so many options we got to do. That's fine. We'll keep them there. We're finished with our scribes. I'm actually going to pull them over into the artisans here, so they'll start working a little bit overtime. And then here, I want to go ahead and see the unseeing seer. And I also want to put them in an artisan's position so they'll be good. Not much else to do. We could auto explore, which I think is going to be the best option for us. And then, of course, we're laying down our spore thing over here. And our science has been researched, at least everything in the queue. So, what do we want to do? I think we want to get a coral amplifier, which would allow us to upgrade our units into like a crawler, the sphere, as I mentioned earlier. We could get a garrison or a guard post. I don't really feel like that's necessary. 25 dust for bribing. I don't care about that so much either. Artisans quarters, 5 approval on a city hall would be good. Scriptorium would be nice. 4 influence on the capital. Unlocks the rewild landscape in action, allowing increased yields of single fidsy tiles and restoration of barren tiles. That's a good one. And then why not more science? Like, what can go wrong with extra science? All right, it's been a handful of turns. Look at you, Mr. Fancy Armor. You think you're pretty special, huh? Call me General, not Mr. The armor is quite fancy, and you are quite blind. As the proud leader of a powerful nation, of course, I can only answer yes, I am pretty special. Do you think you have nothing better to do with your time than insult passerbys? Ooh, even more fancy. Passersby instead of passerbys. Aren't we just little prancing grammar pendants? You don't impress me. I once had an empire that ruled the entire world from ice to ice. Further proof that history is widely and variably interpreted. I can prove it. I have maps and knowledge of things from one end of Saiadha to the other, and you can't have them. Unless you give me a lot of dust. All right, have at least 30 dusted come during 5 turns. That's a pretty simple one. Yeah, 1 doom rate still hasn't popped up. So that's pretty easy to do. We'll definitely be able to do that in no time at all. And then I'm just trying to figure out how I can pacify these guys to take advantage of all of their stuff. That's pretty much where I'm at. Would this make a good city? It actually would. So I'm going to go ahead and evolve that into a city. And I am going to build a little bit of food. We're going to go ahead and jumpstart that up. We are going to roll with some aspects. And unfortunately, I don't have much, but I could take advantage of like all of these anomalies if I wanted to. But in the meantime, we are just, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just pump into those because, I mean, that's going to give us so much on each of those tiles. Absolutely worth it. We're going to get the hydromeal going and the titanium. Should have done that while we were off and not into a city, but that's okie dokie with me. All right, well, we upgraded our city hall over here in Longshore, and you can see the differences that it looks whenever they're upgraded versus not. In a few handful of turns, we'll be able to get these guys rolling. Also, look at this upgraded boyo. That dude's a chonker. Let's go ahead and reduce all this stuff and settle out. There's your normal works. This is an improved works. That looks so cool. I love it. Okay, now what we need to do is we have the potential. We don't want to soak that one up. I think I am going to evolve this one into a camp, but not before. Oh no, a camp is okay. Then I can purchase these, and then I attach it to a city for 300, which isn't bad at all. We also unlock the tech to allow us to get a new hero. Now, this is what's really cool is that depending on the population breakup of your city, total city population, we actually get a variety. So there's technically a 25% chance of getting an unseen seer, 18% chance of a black hammer, and it's 56%. So this is actually a pretty darn even spread overall. Now, the kicker is that these guys do get bonuses, which would incentivize me to use them. These guys don't. And to be honest, I've never had a caster before. Let's inspect and see what they look like. Give shields. What do we got here? Getting dust. Teleports to the target tile. 4 experience to all units. That's actually pretty darn cool. I think we're going to rock with this one. What is your name? Nizra. 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 Cool. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give this person a companion. So we could say, hey, what a wonderful time of day, and get 3 vision range or 5 defense on non-hero in hero's army. That's what we're going to do. And then another thing we could do is we could put this person inside of the army here, and they would actually get 21 damage. if they are together. So we're actually going to try and push that. I think that would be a really good idea. And then we get one of these. What do I really want is the question. 10% more experience. Health, we only have 95 health. Now, mind you, we also don't have any of this stuff. Reduces the upkeep of non-hero minor faction units by 2 dust. Adds 10 science. Actually, here's what we can do. Bada bing, bada boom. So now they do have 1 determination. Yeah, we're definitely going to go here. That's going to get us 6 experience for each curiosity found. And I need to make sure that they go together, which it looks like they can. We're going to go ahead and drop this boyo out. I'm going to have you auto explore just for kicks and giggles. And then I'm going to drop you back in. Sweet. So we have a pretty stacked army right here, which is fan-flippin-tastic. All right, now we've actually built our first keep. And we can see that those bonuses are applying, which is super powerful. Yeah, we could easily get to 100 that way, which really isn't a bad strategy. On top of that, it's building up walls, which is also a good thing for us. Let's go ahead and get this so we can exploit that point. Get down to here. Oh, I already got that. That's right. That's fine. No worries there. We could build a laboratory there. That'd be a really good spot. And then do we get bonuses on districts for being nearby other districts? -5 when you're next to communal habitations. We're not next to communal habitations, so I'm not going to worry about it. And speaking of communal habitations, though, we probably should get that rolling there, which adds a whole bunch of slots to our jobs, which allows more people to be able to come in there. Are we doing good down here? We are. I would like some black hammers, though. We're going to drop guys and artisans, and I think we're in a pretty daggum good spot overall. We're going to get our buffs there. I do need a lot more of these guys. Like, those guys kind of have to take precedence, because if we were to have, oh man, right now we're at 0, but if we were even to be happy, we would get a huge buff to dust, science, and influence. And if we're jubilant, which is over 85%, we actually get +30. That's a really powerful combination. And there we go. So you see that kind of animation in real time where we upgraded. And then we could integrate another group here. We definitely want Reefborn, I think. Well, no, we were gonna settle this area for Reefborn. So let's go ahead and attach this to High Laguna. There we go. And then, of course, it's super cheap to kind of do some of the initial pushes here. So we're going to do that. We can do Force a Treaty or a Consular Mission. That's an upgrade, which gets 20% approval on a district. Let's go ahead and take advantage of all of the anomalies first. That's always going to be our general direction of things. And then this is where we could actually build our kind of hub of I won't say hub of homelessness. That sounds terrible, but you guys know what I mean. Like, just allowing us to be able to expand here without risk of going anywhere else. Now over here, we are full as well, although our food production is not that bad. I'm thinking maybe we should start pushing that a little bit harder. But then again, like, I don't know. I just don't know if we should. We are going to delete those to focus on these guys, because again, I really got to bump that up. That's so crucial for us right now. Sweet. We're slowly building up, doing things great. We are going to boost some clacks. Oh, now it costs 30. Well, that's rude. Well, we can definitely do that in just a couple of turns. And then what we can do, though, is we should have been doing Hydromeal. I haven't been using this like I should have. That's going to give us a nice little decent boost. And unfortunately, I don't think I've even built a trade post yet. This is a really, really bad playthrough on my part. But what we could do is we could have a trade post right here. And then we can start selling all these excess resources, because let's face it, this is a peaceful playthrough, because we're not going to go to war with our brethren over here. There's absolutely no reason for it. And so we're just we're here to chill, we're here to have fun. We're going to attach ourselves to Longshore, which will give us some expansion, a little bit of food as well, which isn't too shabby of a thing to nab. And what else can we do? We could definitely exploit this for a good amount of laboratoriness. And then there's just not a ton of other places that we could do some exploiting. We could go here, get a little bit more food, which I think would be nice. We're building our communal things and working on that. Now, again, we have no more territory to expand into. We're working on this insufficient influence. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and get it before they do, which should be fun. Should be a blast, right? And then we're going to come down into here, into these reefs just for kicks and giggles. Okay, the second monsoon has come. All right, 100% gain on battle spoils, -1 vision range, 20 health generation, and minor factions become enraged. We're going to steal this camp out from underneath them. I am going to attach it once I have 500. Now, mind you, we're only at 120 turns, so we don't have a ton of time left overall. But we can still have a lot of fun while we're here. We can appoint another person. Oh my word. 15 food, industry, dust, science, so the FIDSy on cities if during an active monsoon. This is well worth putting here right now. And then, oh, I should have looked to see if I could change. Is there anything worthwhile here? There isn't anything else worthwhile, so they will stay there. There we go. That's incredible. That's going to help us a lot to kind of wrap up this whole playthrough. And we built our extension, which helps there. We need to continue the extension building. Over here, we're going to pump our rookie numbers up by a lot and get rocking and rolling there. What does our total look like? We're at least at a 15% increase now, which is super duper helpful. Nothing much else we can do on this front, unfortunately. I guess we could see if there's more places. We need to switch with these guys. There we go. That's still a better deal, though. That gets us just a little bit of boost. All right, so the second monsoon has happened, and again, that does mean that a tidefall will happen, and once the second tidefall happens, then we know that the game is basically going to be over. Unfortunately, there's lots of declarations that we could do that we just can't get to yet, such as shared research. We need an embassy technology, immigration, military alliances, and even a shared victory if we wanted it. So it's not going to happen for us, which really kind of stinks, but that's okay. Again, this is a demo playthrough. Things are a little bit unbalanced. Things of that nature. Overall, look at that. We're making 369 gold, 205 influence per turn. And that is largely due to the fact that, remember, we get 2 dust, 2 science, and 2 influence during an active monsoon for those guys. So if we have a city with a lot of them, cough, cough, wink, wink over here, then we actually get a lot of benefits from it. And we can start speeding up production and really kind of streamlining everything, seeing if we can't stretch out to that 85 influence. But if not, at least we've done well. We're getting 255 science a turn. We're kind of cranking things out at a massive rate. And the thing is, we're not wasting it on military stuff because there's no reason to be in that military mindset, considering who we are around. We're going to work on getting some battle spoils and things like that. Sweet, we gained a little bit. We're going to extend ourselves a little bit further thanks to that curiosity. Oh, yes. And we can specialize. So this is not something we have to do. Obviously, we're not going to do it in this playthrough, but still, what we can do is we can optimize. So if we were to go with a Stinger, we would get, when attacking a unit adjacent to 2 friendly units, it gets 15% extra damage. When attacking a flying unit, it adds 20%. When attacking a unit located on a forest tile, it actually bumps up to 30. We have the steady blow. When attacking before moving, adds 20%. And then can attack in a 3-tile radius. The resistor gets an increase in health as well, but it gets ranged 4, which means it can be 4 tiles away. Still gets the flying unit bonus and still gets the 20% critical. I'm going to roll with this one. This right here, this boyo, this pitiless Stinger is going to be very beneficial for us. And then over here, we can do this same thing for our envoy. we can say, hey, I want to add 10 defense, increase vision range, and add 20 damage when attacking a Juggernaut unit, which would be, I don't think the Necrophages have them, but I do know that the Kin have them. And it ignores any attacks of opportunity, which means we wouldn't get attacked if we moved away. However, the Surveyor is a support unit, gets an increase in defense already, and then adds 1 movement point, vision, 20% damage, and adds 5 defense. So it actually adds, oh no, that is the addition right there. This adds 10 defense though. I think we're going to go with that little dude because he just looks like he's having a lot more fun. And then these guys can't really do much. They are just auto exploring. So that's pretty much what we're doing till the end of the game. All right, so if I'm also reading this right, this technically is not a district in the sense of what am I trying to say here? Like a keep district per se. So this would actually be a better one. We could do 2 dust plus 1 dust for each adjacent district. Now that would mean this would probably be a little more beneficial. Maybe not. So we need to find where we would want to put this. We could probably put this right here and then build next to it. Get a little bit more gold, you think? Think that would be a really smart thing to do? I think it is. And then we could build a trading post here if we wanted to. We're again just going to start pushing out and cranking everything that we can because why the heck not? All right, so what we want to do here, we could build another science beacon. We could build another science here. Would this be beneficial? Not too terribly beneficial. I think I'd rather just go ahead and build a keep or our fortifications here. I think that would be the best use of our time. And then here, we're still kind of working hard on the expensiveness of our strongholds, which is a little bit bonkers. But we're going to keep expanding because, again, why the heck not? We can take a use of these anomalies and really, really just reap the benefits. And now we've also gotten shock tactics. So this is a garrison which gets more fortification on a district as well as health regen. The guard post gives 20 experience to new units and militia. And then the governor's retinue gives 10 district fortification on the city hall and a district fortification on the ministry, which is a little bit bonkers. But if we were to go over to here, we could see those. Now, this doesn't increase our contentment, so I'm not going to actually worry about it. But this would be really darn cool. And as you can see, and there is a specific person in mind when I'm talking about this, Chris, you know who you are. These are this is like a level 2 wall system that is going on inside of the city. Now, I think we probably could make that go higher, and we can even test that if we wanted to, probably not on Reefborn, but definitely on somewhere else. But yeah, we can just continue expanding, continue getting all of these in their right place, and just have a lot of fun. I'm making so much money per turn here that I can pretty much buy out anything I want left, right, front, and center, which is really fun. We also need to just start researching into the future. We are already have unlocked tier 3 stuff, which means we could get a Lazulin mine, Hyperion mine, builder's quarters. We could probably expand deeper and add more cities. Maybe not, but ooh, this is an embassy. Let's go ahead and see if we can't do that in the next 4 turns, just so I can unlock some more stuff for you guys to handle or to see and kind of explore. But yeah, we're having fun at this point. It's not as war intense as I thought it would be, but that's okay. And maybe in the kin playthrough, I'll make sure I get a run where we can really exploit the fun aspect of having multiple wars with other beings and whatnot. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. Sweet. So we've researched the advanced stuff here. Oh, brilliant. Shared research. What is this? Signing the treaty will make text discovered by one empire cost 20% less for the other. That's really cool. A military alliance will make it free for the other empire to declare war on your own enemies. When one empire goes to war, the military alliance partner is prompted with a choice. I like that a lot. I mean, again, that doesn't really apply to us, but let's go ahead and let's sign it. And we could have forced it, you see. So now it's going to be a little bit costly for him to push away. We were able to get that. What do we want to research? What would be fun here? Lua, 2 approval for communal habitats would be good. Another protectorate slot would be even better. We could research that sooner over there. And then let's go ahead and see if we can't get into another region and take it over for one last hoorah. That's going to cost just a wee bit, which isn't a big issue. And here we go. Look at that. We're at Jubilant on that front. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to 60, above 85%. That's okay because, you know, at least we got as far as we could while still having a boatload of fun doing it. We're going to go ahead and add that there. And now we have a trading post as well, which is awesome because now I can sell this stuff. So one of the cool things about selling strategic and luxury resources is you see our empire stock, you see the income per turn, and then you see the world stock. So you see how much is out in the market to purchase. Now, obviously, the less of the market there is, the more costly it is to buy it. However, the cheaper it is, I think it should probably actually be the opposite. I think it should be really cheap to buy. I guess it'd be more, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But like someone's been selling glass steel out the wazoo, my word. Like that's not going to really give us any benefits there. We could go ahead and boost this, which means we get 15% approval in all of our cities. What does that do for us on this front? Well, we could totally build not optimally just to see if I can't reach that boost. Oh my word, no, we should just go over here. This is a money pocket. What in the world? So we don't want merchants' houses next to each other. So that was a big mistake there on my part. That's interesting though, because this gets, I see the benefit here. You build, you're going to build a merchant's house there. You would build 2 trade posts here and then another merchant's house here, trade post, and you could build a massive hub over here. Trade post. Then you go merchant's house. You pay for all of this stuff because you're wealthy out the wazoo. And I don't know that we want to pay for this other stuff here. No, we don't. That's fine. I think one of the big issues here is that we actually get a reduction. We get issues because we have spaces here. We have destitute populations. I think that's what that is. So let's go ahead and stop all the research for everything but this. That should help things a lot. Sweet. Now, I just want to say right now, let's take a look at what the Empire is doing. We're making 462 dust a turn, 249 influence a turn, and we are researching at 308 Empire progression per turn. We technically, I don't think we'll get into Era 4, but we're daggum close to it, which isn't bad at all. We potentially only have 1 turn left, so I do kind of want to focus on that production because again, I think this is kind of a bort and in the best of ways possible. This is like the most optimal setup we could ever have because that is a trading post. That's a trading post. We built the merchants thing, which we'd want to do a trading post here. But do trading posts get negative boosts if they're next to each other? Nope, just -2 dust for each adjacent resource deposit. So that's not bad at all. What do we got over yonder? We're going to do this last little thing. We can't evolve into a camp. That's fine. We're going to research and do one last thing. What do we want? Add 4 damage. Sure. Why not? Like we're at the point now where it doesn't truly matter what goes on in this. Diplomatic cater enables cohabitation assimilation with an additional minor faction and then minus cost, reduce cost to get people in. We don't have even another person that we could use, which is fine. We don't necessarily need it. It's not super necessary. All right, the second Tidefalls happened now, which again is going to add even more land for us to discover and potentially push the main storyline. Look at this animation. I mean, good freaking grief. That's so good. I absolutely love it. And now all of these things have exposed themselves. Our coral has expanded even more. We've met more minor factions as well. And it looks like we're still stuck with these guys. I really want to get a land bridge of coral over into these areas so we can start having a connection. So regardless, one last turn, I imagine, is all we get. Sweet. You've reached the objective. Oh, nice. We've been the first to own a single of a 60 of a single luxury resource. Sweet. Give me an audience with someone who can figure out these strange mudflats exposed by the seas. I'm worried about these new lands. What perils do they present? Are our troops ready? Are we equipped to do battle here? I ponder the same questions and come up with a few possibilities to consider. We could train at the cost of influence per turn. We could equip for approval at the cost of dust, or we could reinforce at the cost of influence. We're definitely going to go ahead and equip. That way, oh, we're so close. I imagine it's probably going to be impossible to... It's not going to be impossible. Nothing is impossible. Ah, dang it. That might be impossible. What if I were to build one there? That's 68%. Got us to 85. Heck yes. So now we get even more. We are boosted even more per turn. That's what I wanted to accomplish. Like we hit all of our marks. We hit everything we needed to. And I think that's going to be the end of the game. We have 5 or 6 more turns. How did we end up? We're still way behind. And I'm wanting to say that this is a little borked. Like, I think it's not quite calculated correctly because my influence vastly outweighs all of the stuff that they are doing. And yet, I think just because I have a small army, it's not really weighing it well, which is unfortunate because if you're going for a score only focus, then you have to focus on military. And this is not a military minded arm or a faction. It's not designed to handle military might like others would. The AI may be building it as such, but still, regardless, we're going to see if we can't play a few more turns. Scholars area. Oh, nice. This is a big urban planning thing that we have hit as well. And then this is our Doom Wraith, where we could actually finally destroy the Doom Wraith and be able to do that. In fact, let's get a sky scale. Okay, 1 sky scale. We can get 2 warsmiths and 2 archers. So we're going to delete those guys, move them back. I actually don't want this because we've already got that. Okay, we may not be able to make this army work, but we can at least try. All right, well, we weren't able to get to it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this look at the aspect and the full demo playthrough. If you did, you know how to support the channel by giving the video a like, subscribing, and of course, leaving your comments in the comment section down below. Go wishlist this game because it's 100% worth it. And if you haven't watched my other video on the 8 differences between Endless Legend 1 and Endless Legend 2, I highly recommend you go check that out as well. And also be on the lookout for a Ken video in the same breath and probably a single episode, maybe 2. That's all. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.